Hair looks perfect. Holly, welcome back to your home away from home. Here we've seen you in some of the biggest fights, headlining, MGMs, all that good stuff. How does it feel to be back? How's this summer Vegas heat treating you?
Well, I'm glad to be here. I don't mind the heat. I like the heat, so it's pretty hot back at home in New Mexico anyway, but just glad to be here and be in fight week and embrace the process.
You've been on the poster multiple times, 5 rounders. It's nothing new to you, but was it nice to have downshifted before with that 3-round fight?
Yeah, a 3-round fight's always there's two ways of looking at it. It's only 3 rounds. I'm going to go even a little harder pace, or your focus doesn't have to be so in tune for a half hour. It's 15 minutes, so I think sometimes that's more the thing for me. But also, there's only 3 rounds, so there's not a lot of room, to mess around in there. So with 5 rounds, you've got 5 different rounds to make a statement in. I don't know. It was kind of nice to go back to a 3-round fight, but I feel like I should be fighting the best and being, ready for a 5-round fight anyway, because that's what a title would be.
Absolutely. And speaking of always staying ready and doing these big fights, it's a little dangerous. You've always taken the big challenges, but a 3 versus a 10, a lot of people wouldn't sign up for that. But you're a veteran. You've been in the game. Was there any thought about I don't want to shift back. I don't want to take a lower ranked fighter, even if it is the main on ESPN Plus?
That's just the fight they offered me, so that's what I took.
Excellent.
I didn't have really, it's they offer you a fight, you don't take it, then you can be sat down for a while. So it is a big risk to take a fight with a lower ranked fighter, because at this point anybody in the top 10 are really tough, and so yeah, I have everything to lose. She has everything to gain. There's a lot of pressure on that, but I think that a champion should be able to walk in and take care of it one way or the other.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. How do you see her as an opponent? You have the advantages being on the posters, being 25 minutes before, but what else does she bring to the table that's a good challenge for you?
I think she's tough. She's a scrapper. She'll go in. She's not afraid to throw combos on her feet. She's definitely seasoned with her jiu-jitsu, so she presents a threat in multiple ways. I don't overlook her at all.
Excellent. As a pioneer, living legend, you've helped bring the sport, give it an energy boost every once in a while, especially when it was really needed. Amanda just retired. So thoughts on a former foe retiring, one of the greatest of all time, and also how that applies to you now being able to just be like, okay, now I'm going to just lead the division, maybe even get 2 belts doing it.
I wish Amanda nothing but the best in her retirement. She's a champion that never dodged anybody. She fought everyone that challenged her, and not a lot of people really can sit there and say, yeah, I took on it. She fought everyone. I always wanted to be able to avenge that loss, rematch her, fight her for the belt, and that's not going to happen anymore. But I always felt that at this point I was 1 fight away from the belt anyway. So my goal is still the belt, regardless. And, if she ever wants to come out of retirement, then maybe that could even happen then. Not every fighter stays retired, right? But, I do feel like I'm 1 fight away from the title regardless. And, even at 145 or 135. But, I was excited to fight for the title even before she retired, But, yeah, it does shake things up a little bit in the division because of it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Hi, Holly.
Hi.
There's been some rumors that Ronda may return, some rumors at 135, 145. Is that a fight you'd be interested in, and would you prefer one of those weight classes over the other?
I don't know if she'll really come back. I think, who knows if it's just talk. I know she's a very competitive person. There's a reason why she was an Olympian and a reason why she was a champion for so long. So I would absolutely revisit that fight. And at either weight, I think I don't really think that it's an advantage or disadvantage depending on the weight. I think that either one. We'll see if she comes back. I know she's been pretty busy with her life, and whatever she wants to do, more power to her. But if she comes back, that'd be great to fight again.
And we spoke to your opponent earlier today. She mentioned that a few things. She said that she doesn't believe you have the courage anymore. I'm wondering if you could respond to that.
I like that she thinks she knows what's on my heart.
And then she also predicted that she's going to fight 5 rounds with you and then knock you out in the 5th round. I'm wondering if you could respond to that as well.
Anybody can dream.
Thank you.
Hey, Holly. The consensus is, Juliana Pena versus Raquel Pennington for the vacant bantamweight title. Do you feel like a win on Saturday, you leapfrog one of them and put yourself in there?
Yeah, I don't see why I wouldn't. We're ranked 1, 2, and 3. I know that I've already had this fight scheduled since, before a lot of the shakeup in the division. But my focus is still Saturday night because that's all I'm promised right now. I need to get past that. But my focus needs to be there and present Friday night and then, see where we go from there.
Your old pal, Jon Jones, came back and demolished Cyril Gane. I just wanted your thoughts on his performance and him coming back and just being Jon.
He's got a very high fight IQ, and he's he really handles a lot of big pressure well. So a lot of people were worried about him having time off, how it was going to be. But when he takes a fight, he's taking it with intent to win, and I think that's why he's always, kind of been able to win in these fights. He's a very smart fighter and a very talented fighter, so I don't think it was a surprise for him to come back and be able to win, dominantly.
Awesome. Thank you.
Do you think any win gets you that title shot, or do you think it needs to be a knockout? I know Myra was saying that she feels that only a knockout of you would be able to give her a title shot. Do you feel like any win, since you're a lot closer to the top, do you think any win propels you to that potential, or do you need a nice definitive finish of her?
Her and I are definitely in different positions right now, but and that is the risk with taking a fight with someone who isn't ranked, as high. Like I said, she has everything to gain. I have everything to lose. So, a loss to her takes me a big step back and puts her a big step forward. I'm very aware of what's in front of me. But we still got this fight Saturday night, and the unknown is out there. I always am looking for a big win and win in big fashion. I mean, I don't even in the gym, I don't want to lose a single round to my teammates, much less when I'm fighting someone who's trying to take my spot at, and use this fight to, push themselves forward. So I have a big pride and an ego in a good way that it's competitive. But I always want to win in big fashion. But my goal is to go in there and just focus and take it round by round. And if it takes 5 rounds, it takes 5 rounds. And if it's sooner, it's sooner.
And I know your style is very unique, a lot of movement. And when I tried to ask her if she was able to bring somebody in to try to mimic that style, she just referred that her current coach is the one that had to act as you. But do you think she's seen anybody with your particular style and break her down a little bit? Like, when it comes to her striking, do you think that she stands a chance against your striking? I mean, is she dangerous in striking? And do you think she was able to mimic you in training camp?
Every fighter that's fighting in this division for this promotion that's in the top 10 all has a chance. They all have to be talented to even be there. So yes, she's tough. I don't ever overlook any of it. I don't think that I do feel that my ability and my skill is better than hers in every aspect of those exchanges, but that doesn't mean that something can't land. I mean, not trying to be super extreme here, but you could get someone off the street and they still have a puncher's chance. So I don't ever overlook anything. I'm ready for anything, but I definitely feel that my skill is just better.
If they did go ahead and make the Pena versus Pennington fight, would that be upsetting? And if so, if that fight did happen, kind of what is your prediction on how that fight would come out?
I think that, that fight could be like, it'd be a little scrap. I think that they both are, scrappers. They kind of get in scrambles and they can make a fight, those two fighters and those styles. If they put that fight together, then at this point, I don't know. Do I wait and see what happens there, and then see what's after that? And if they did it, how soon would it be? would I want to take another fight between now and then? Or I think that there's a lot to do with, every week things can change. From 6 months ago to now, you look at where rankings are and what fights have been put together. So I don't really put too much into it, one thought. I just kind of want to get through this fight and just kind of see how everything unfolds.
And last for me, that being said, the goalpost is so much closer now, you're number 3, that how reinvigorated for that and how exciting is that to see that goal that you've been working towards, again, is within reach?
Yeah, I feel like, I guess I felt like that all along. I had a decision loss against Ketlin, but I feel, and I think the majority of everyone else feels, I won that fight. And in that case, I would be on a 4-fight win streak. So there's that. I think sometimes maybe other people, because you follow a lot of fights and a lot of different, avenues and different fights and different results. But in my mind, I've always been a fight away from the belt,
Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
One follow-up. You said that, you were looking forward to a rematch with Amanda. Obviously, that's not going to happen anytime soon if she doesn't come out of retirement. But is there another rematch that you would like, between Misha or JDR or Valentina, or Cyborg? Is there one rematch that you would prefer?
I would avenge any loss. That's just, that's my pride. I would avenge any loss, but a lot of them really aren't feasible. Because GDR, we tried to put that one together multiple times. From what I understand, she just said no. And Cyborg's not with UFC anymore. Misha and Valentina, those are possible. Valentina's been at 125, but she's had a lot of fights at 35. Who knows if she would come back up? Maybe she did fight Amanda twice. Maybe she would want to see if she could have, be a double champ as well. Who knows? I would take any rematch for sure, because why wouldn't I want to get that win,
Thank you.
Sorry, I forgot to ask. When you mentioned in passing 145 earlier, what are your thoughts on, do you think the division's done? And if the opportunity came up to keep the division alive, would you take a fight at 145?
Everything depends on the fight, the time, the opportunity. Everybody's been wondering if 145-pound division was going to be around since it started. And it's still there, so I don't really see it leaving. I think they leave that kind of open. I just fought Yana, and then she just fought at 145, I think, a week or two ago. So who knows? They're kind of keeping it somewhat active. I think Dumont and someone else fighting at 145 this Saturday. So, they might keep it. They keep putting fights in there, so I feel like they're keeping it alive, but. It also the fight has to make sense,
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.